David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I have a great deal of sympathy for this bill, and I think the last speaker raised some very strong points, because there are cases where the Public Works Act was used for purposes that it shouldn't have been. And there are many families that are justifiably aggrieved. And in those days, and you know, you can probably argue these days as well sometimes, the process and the law had other reasons it was doing what it was doing, rather than fairness and equity. And a lot of families may have been in that situation that the previous speaker spoke about, and are justifiably looking for some recourse and some way of dealing with those issues. So I'd take a lot from the last speaker and her personal example. I also think of you know, a lot of returned land that iwi may get now through settlement processes. Some of that land is associated with transport routes. It's government land that may have been purchased through NZTA or railways and such like that. So it's very much on infrastructural routes, and so its likelihood of ever being used for public works in the future is probably a bit higher, because it's actually in a position where other infrastructure that may be used in the future may actually come along that land. And so there could be a particular difficulty in the future with those settlements that may seem like they're progressing the transfer of land, but it may actually mean that there could be a situation where the Public Works Act comes into effect on that land and cause further dilemmas for the people that did get that land through the settlement. So, those are just two examples of where you can think of that there are issues in the way the Public Works Act operates in regard to specifically Māori land, but all land in particular. You know, there's an argument that the Public Works Act in any way is too strong, and for any landowner, and that government's ability to do what it wants, or council's ability to do what it wants, could sometimes be questioned anyway. And so that may be a further issue that we need to take into account, because the all-knowing, all-good nature of government not necessarily the case in all times. So I actually have a lot of sympathy for the bill. I think it actually raises some very valid concerns, and is something that I'd appreciate that the Green Party has brought forward to the House, and thank them for that. I just don't think it's the right solution at this time, though. But I do think that you know, there needs to be more discussion about how we can find a solution for those kind of issues going forward, because I don't think that families that have felt aggrieved in the past and don't feel have had any recourse should actually be just told to suck it up and wait. And I also think there could be issues around future settlements with the land corridors that would be involved, that could actually create some problems. So I think you've raised a genuine issue. This probably isn't the solution for it, but certainly I think that the nature of the Parliament is that other solutions come forward over time and can actually try and address that issue as well. So, Mr Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to speak in this bill, and although we oppose it, we do understand that there are some very valid concerns involved, and look forward to in the future. You got a proposal? Pardon? Yes, we're opposed. A bit like you and the TPPA. Yeah, you think it's very good, but you oppose it. Yeah. So it's good that that member's here. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Tell us more about that.